Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. Just fairly recently, the former president of Nigeria has been in the news severally, maybe because of some of his comments or discussing national issues and all of that. And guess what? He has become overly controversial, which, from all indication, I feel that the time for change has come. We've already started hearing a lot of other information. And guess what? He is telling Nigerians, not even addressing the entirety of Nigerians, but talking to the youth that the time has come. Now, the news is going to reveal exactly what he means that the time has come for the youth to wake up. It's like an advice that he's giving out from a father to son, maybe because he's out of the political circle. That's why he's saying all of this. But we're going to look into this and also see Nigerian reaction to some of the statement that he has made. But please don't forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our videos. Now, according to the news, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo has warned African youths to note that leadership position would not come their way until they squeeze older generation out of office. Obasanjo also advised the youth to demand that affirmative action is encapsulated in the constitution of political parties as part of strategies to ease out old generation of leaders. He spoke on Wednesday while delivering a keynote address at a virtual interactive session with youths to mark this year International Youth Day. The program was organized by the Youth Development Center, an arm of the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library (OOPL), OK Omusan in Abeokuta. Participants of the meeting cut across Nigeria, Mali, United States, Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa. He noted that unless the leaders were evicted from the stage, they would continue to occupy the leadership position. Obasanjo said, unless you squeeze out those who are in office and those who want to remain in office perpetually, some after the age of 80, they will not want to be cut out. The type of change I am talking about that I believe we can all embark upon is to subscribe into the constitution of political parties in favor of youth, or if you like it, you call it affirmative action in favor of youth. For instance, if you say in the constitution of a political party, not less than 50% of those who hold executive office within the party will be less than 40 years of age. You just you are just making sure that people that are 40 years old will hold 50% of executive position within the political party. You can even go beyond that and say that people who will be put up for election, not less than 50% of them will be less than 40 years of age. That's affirmative action. That's positive discrimination in favor of youth. I am saying this because if you leave it entirely for people to do it for you, nobody will do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. Wow, things are changing. People are talking. But how will these be implemented is a big question that we need to answer. But before we go into that, let's look at some of the reactions of Nigerians. And this one says, when we are busy fighting ourselves, our greedy men who have impoverished the very fabric of our existence argue with the type of post they make on this platform against themselves daily. I beg Jare, leave me alone. And this one here says, Agbaya, could they try that with you when you were there? Wouldn't you have ordered their totality massacre? God gave you all the opportunity to make things right by creating your fear in people's heart, hence opportunity to make things right, but you blew it up. Agbaye. Wow, so many people just like that. And this one says here, Gawan, Mutala, Obasanjo, Buhari, Babangida Abacha rule this country as youth, not mentioning some military governors who rule in their 20s. Our problem is not about youth being in charge, but total emancipation from mental, physical, and spiritual slavery. Wow, for me, that's a great one. And then another person here who is responding to someone who castigated Obasanjo. You know, the person said you were given a chance and you blew it and all of that. Now people are responding to him. And this one says here, did you read the last part where he talked about the party structure which will work in favor of the youths? These present old generation leaders were youth when they took over, and they don't want to leave. The same way these youths will be when they seize power from them. Another problem we have in Nigeria is that after these youths have successfully taken the power from the old generation, they will also end up sitting tight and prevent the next youth generation from taking over by manipulating and reviewing the same constitution that brought them in to their favor and against the next generation. Selfishness is everyone's watchword in Nigeria. Great response there, I tell you. We're going to talk about all of that. And this one also responding to that young man who said Obasanjo was given an opportunity and he blew it, also said, do you know it's very easy to tell someone who just lost his loved one to take heart, it's not the end of the world. Tears can't bring the dead back, blah, blah. But when you lose a loved one, your own cry fit full tongue. Advising on the outside is the easiest things to do when you are not involved. Buhari could have easily said this statement if he wasn't the president. And that's absolutely true. That's why we need people who are ready to rule. They must have tested, sat down, and they now make very serious plans that will liberate the country from where we are currently. And I think that greed must totally be dealt with. This one here says that would be a step in the right direction, but sadly, our youth's interest is mostly channeled to Yahoo Yahoo. But I believe we still have capable and disciplined young men and women in our society that can take up mantle of leadership in Nigeria and Africa. We just have to rise up from our slumber and kick ourselves in the boot. Improve your brand and let us change Nigeria. And the last one here, which I want to take, says, how can youths do that when they are busy working as thugs and hitmen for the old politicians just for crumbs? Your home is incomplete without you taking care of the youths. All right. Now, let's look at this issue very fast because I feel that Obasanjo has said much. But guess what? The issue of corruption, if we must be so real to ourselves, it's now running in the fibers of Nigerians. Leadership we are talking about, and we're looking at political positions and all of that. But let's first of all take a drive into companies, take a drive into agencies, take a drive into our personal dealings on a daily basis. And I tell you the truth that the issue of corruption is in our bloodstream. You see people given small offices as the offices of accountant, given the offices of being a manager and all of that. And the only thing that plays in their mind is looting. I feel that whether you want to bring in the youth, whether you don't want to bring in the youth and all of that, but there are certain punitive measures at this point that must be integrated into our constitution and must be followed to the letter before we can fix this country. Imagine in a country like China, we all know what it means for you to collect bribe and what it means for you to be involved in corruption. If they get to realize it, you face firing squad. And I feel that those are the kind of thing that, because right now, if you want to say bring in youth, the youths are still a product of these old politicians. Let's be real to ourselves. As much as I want to see a youth up there, but the truth is that some of them are talking the way they're talking because they're outside power. By the time power begins to revolve in their hand, you will see a youth in a different direction. You will see what they will do. Some of them, because of youthful exuberance, will make sure that any form of fundamental human right in Nigeria is done away with. We've got to fix the issue of the system being corrupt. We must begin to inculcate in our in our constitution and in our people the strong hate for corruption, the strong hate for greed. We must exterminate anything like election wahala, all this fighting, carrying of. We must let the politicians know that these things are not right until we deal with ourselves, until the change comes from us. Whether we bring in the Uto, we bring in the Olo, they are the same people who were craving for the system to be corrected, will still be the people, same people who will corrupt the system and loot our money as much as possible. I feel at this point that Nigeria needs to look inward and let us bring in good strategies that will fix this country by making sure, first of all, we deal with the system, correct the system, make sure that those who are involved in corruption, they are brought to book and they are dealt with. By that time, by just watching these things happen, our youths will begin to curb themselves and will do the right thing. Well, that's where I would like to leave it. Kudos to Obasanjo for what he has said. Let's go to our comment section. No hate words. Let's begin to interact. What do you think can be done?